This is quite a late entry in the Universal series, film number 10 I believe, and although the series had started to run out of steam somewhat by the end and get a wee bit jaded in its plots, this film has got a lot to recommend it. It's a very enjoyable entry in the series. The plot centres on Holmes being employed by an insurance company to go and investigate the suspicious and gruesome deaths of a group of men known as the Good Comrades, who all have taken out policies with the company. So Watson and Holmes have to take the Flying Scotsman to the wilds of the west of Scotland, to this Gothic mansion, which is owned by this gentleman with a shawl, Bruce Alistair, who has rented his home out to this group of his friends called the Good Comrades. And what a house it is! It's a very eerie looking Gothic castle. It's like something left over from a 1930s Frankenstein movie. What on earth he does here on his own when his friends aren't staying over is anybody's business. He's got his spooky housekeeper Miss Monteith as well. Can't be a lot of fun staying in this house on your own, I wouldn't imagine. This is poor Nigel Bruce. He got a lot of flack for his portrayal of Watson in these movies. Quite unjustly, I believe. His portrayal is way off from the source material from the Conan Doyle novels, that's true, but I still think he plays the part brilliantly and is a perfect counterbalance to Rathbone's rather cold and calculating portrayal of Holmes. But brilliant portrayal of Holmes, don't get me wrong, but still think you need that levelling out of good humour that Bruce brings to the part. And I think Rathbone and Bruce perfectly complement each other in the roles. I'll just be quiet and let you enjoy this scene. It's a great scene.
Why should he? Well, there are several possible explanations. The most obvious, of course, to avert suspicion.
And you think Simpson's behind all this?
I don't know, Watson. This is a most unique case. Instead of too few, we have too many clues and too many suspects. The main pattern of the puzzle seems to be forming, but the pieces don't fit in.
Well, it seems perfectly clear to me. One of these men is picking off the others one by one to get all their insurance money for himself. Well, it's obvious.
How do you account for the orange pips?
Well, this man has an accomplice who brings them.
What for? To warn his victim that he's going to be murdered? Oh, Watson, he won't do it. Won't do it at all.
I don't like the look of it, Holmes. Muddy waters, eh?
Too muddy. As if someone were constantly stirring them up.
Why should they stir them up?
To confuse me. There's intelligence behind this business, Watson. Cold, calculating, ruthless intelligence.
Must you smoke that filter stuff? Smells like an old sock.
Strong tobacco keeps one awake. You'd better have a pipe full. We have a long vigil ahead of us tonight.
No, thank you. I don't need any of that stinkweed to keep me awake in this chilly brew. This terrible horrors.
What a great scene that is. I love that scene between Holmes and Watson. Some great dialogue between the two of them. And Watson not taking his night watchman duties very seriously. There's a lot of elements of the Agatha Christie kind of stories in this film. Big cast of characters and suspects, and a gargantuan kind of mansion to wander around, and loads of rooms for people to be toing and froing from. And some lovely lighting in this film too. It really amplifies the Gothic sets that they've got. Beautiful Gothic sets. Some familiar faces there from other movies in the series. they tended to repeat the actors quite often, contract players. Some more nice moody gothic lighting. And not for the first time in this film, somebody getting accosted in some way. It's always something happening in this film. Somebody getting locked in rooms, or tied up, or clonked on the head, or assaulted in some shape or form. And there's quite a lot of people for suspects for Holmes to kind of wade his way through in this film. Lestrade, right on cue. He seems to be way out of his district in west of Scotland, but for most of this film he's got a totally bemused, confused look on his face, like he's just come late to a party and he doesn't know which song's been played. There's quite a funny line at the top of the stairs here in a couple of minutes. Lestrade in surprise and exasperation because he doesn't know what's going on, utters the words suffering cats, a phrase I'm not familiar with at all. I've never heard it before. I've looked it up and tried to find the origins and the meaning of it, but it's escaped me so far. The more suspicious looking people, Miss Monteith, the housekeeper, and Holmes investigating a clue, the type of knot used to tie the person up. More people being tied up there. This gentleman who plays Bruce Allister is a very fine actor and he plays the part brilliantly. I'm not familiar with the actor's name, but he's got a familiar face. But Holmes in this film, he gets quite a few opportunities to show off his a wealth of obscure knowledge and intellect. He manages to identify tattoos and in quite an impressive way, and his knowledge of tattoos comes to the fore. But quite strangely enough, in another scene, he seems quite oblivious to the use of the orange pips as an omen of impending doom. They take that plot device from the original story, the Conan Doyle's The Five Orange Pips, and utilise it in this film. Everybody gets an envelope containing orange pips as an omen of death. But Holmes doesn't seem to be aware of the meaning of it. It's left to Bruce Allister, the owner of the home, to make him aware that it's used in some African countries as an omen of death, which is quite strange considering Holmes's obvious intellect and wide knowledge, that he wouldn't have come across that at some stage. But this is a very fine film in the series. It's right up there with the best in the series, I would say. It's got all the elements of a Sherlock Holmes film that you would want. It's got a lot of mystery and intrigue in it, and brilliant spooky sets and setting, and it has a few moments where you raise an eyebrow at in disbelief at some of the things. Some things don't make perfect sense, but on the whole, it's a great entry in the series, and well worth revisiting if you haven't seen it before. I saw all these movies back when I was 12 years of age and immediately fell in love with them, and I still watch them to this day, and I always find something new to enjoy in these movies. There's so much great work in these films, and it's amazing that they produce such quality cinema in such a short space of time and such a limited budget. It's incredible. It's always well worth watching Rathbone and Bruce, because they're so perfect in these roles. It's like they're born to play these roles. They're so comfortable on set and on screen together as well. They just play off each other so perfectly. There's a lot of funny scenes and dialogue in this film. Some unintentionally funny, but some quite intentionally funny dialogue. But there's a lot of great moments and great Holmes elements in this film that you want. A lot of um, Holmesian kind of qualities about it. So I would definitely check this movie out and guarantee that you won't be disappointed.